Okay, not much time for this, so hopefully I can get it done in one take. Um, Needs to be stuck. Oh, not much time, but and action. Okay, so yesterday was the direct. The day before said direct, I made a few. I made a list with a few ideas as to what I thought could be there, along with rumors and that I compiled that other people had theories on. In this follow-up, which hopefully I have time to make and publish before or my usual broadcasting time, I'll go over those. And seeing as I am a bit pressed for time, no better time to start than... Well, how about now? Okay, so, of course, first of all, Pikmin 4. Of course I was going to be there because they said it would when they announced the Direct. And of course we got a decent amount of information concerning Pikmin 4. By way of contrast, I'm honestly surprised that everybody 1-2 Switch wasn't at the Direct anywhere. I mean, I think that would have been there. When else are they going to show that other than just a random trailer? Sonic Superstars, of course, was one of the first third-party titles to be shown off, so I was right that they would have a trailer for that. And likewise, Persona 5 Tactica was also there. So, yeah, that's another thing I got right. Of course, I made an assumption that there'd be a sizzle reel with various short clips of gameplay, which for some reason there wasn't. No, as far as I can remember. So in the American Direct, there was no Apollo Justice, no Ghost Trick, no Professor Layton. However, you can see that I have Ghost Trick Phantom Detective highlighted. That's because there was a bit of a sizzle reel for the Japanese Direct. And Ghost Trick was there, so therefore, it counts. I never specified why there had to be just the American Direct. If it was in either the American or the Japanese Direct, it counts. Of course, there was nothing for Dragon Quest III in HD 2D Remake. But there were other things that were similar. But there was something else that was similar, but it's too early to speak of that. And looks like I was right about one thing. Right to suspect. Right to be suspicious, I mean, of the long absence of Detective Pikachu 2. Because Wouldn't you know it? They actually did have a trailer for it. Only it's not called 2, it's called Returns. But how was I to know that? Either way, all that matters is it is the sequel that had been that had yielded nothing but radio silence for years. Well, save for that one detail in that one title, but yeah. Nothing but radio silence for years until now. So yeah, of the known titles, that's let's see. Yeah, more than half of them correct by my calculations. I mean, it would have been a tie if not for the Japanese direct featuring a ghost trick in the sizzle reel. Yeah. Now for the DLC. Of course Wave 5 would be there, and I was right. And one thing I forgot to bring up in the speculation tape, I never bothered to discuss anything specific that could be in the Wave 5 clip. Of course, the track itself, that's what we now know of as squeaky as what we now know of as squeaky clean sprint. I knew about that already because of data mines for Tor. As for characters, now this is something that even if you could try to try to get after me for not saying anything about Squeaky Clean Sprint before, the characters, that I actually do have evidence of me saying something about it. The future of the Nintendo Switch tape. I mean, I made a mock-up chart for waves 5 and 6. And, wouldn't you know it, 2 out of 3 of the characters I showed in that chart were actually shown. Both Petey Piranha and Kamek were there. I'm honestly surprised that Diddy Kong wasn't, but I suspect they're just saving the best for last. He'll be at the he'll be in Wave 6. I'm sure of it. Of course, honestly, I thought it would be a Kamek that was saved for Wave 6, but hey. So I got the placements of 2 mixed up. So what? At least I'm right about the characters actually being there. Of course, one thing that was unclear is who the other 2 drivers would be. I mean, I had my suspicions. I mean, King Babam, Pauline, Dixie Kong. I mean, even Rob. Yeah, of course, in fact, Rob was one of the ones I was leaning more closely towards because, well, of course now, I'm not so sure because, well, because they did pick one of the more strange choices, that being Wiggler. Which, yeah, definitely a fun addition. Not exactly what I expected, but I'll take it. Yeah. Of course, I'm not sure if Wiggler will be in tour, because, well, honestly not sure if it would be something that the hardware targets would be able to handle. Yeah, but enough of of Mario Kart 8. Of course. Next on the list for DLC, Splatoon 3 Side Order. Nothing for that. However, we did get the announcement of the next Splatfest, so that's something. Of course, of course, next on the list, the Scarlet and Violet, Hidden Treasure of Area Zero DLC. That was actually the opening act for the direct. So yeah, good thing I put that down. And of course, also, I mean, I figured we'd probably get something for at least one of the Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope expansions, and yeah, not only was I right about there being at least something for the last Ark Hunter, if nothing else, but I was also right about them showing off Rabbid King Babam, and of course, one other surprise, it actually came out on the same day, the DLC, or so I'm told. Of course, nothing for the Rayman expansion, but I only put that down there just so I could say I called it if they did have it. Otherwise, I would have just assumed they would save that for the September Direct. Next in line, Amiibo. They didn't show off the Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Amiibo that they previously announced. Oh wait, actually, before I go any farther, I forgot to say. 3 out of 5 for DLC. So that's actually very good. Yeah. Anyway, back to Amiibo. Nothing for the Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Amiibo. There was, however, the reveal of the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom Amiibo of Zelda and Ganondorf. Both of them were there. Of course, nothing for Sora. And of course, it's still unclear if we're ever going to get that, but maybe at the September Direct. And of course, it doesn't appear that they're going to be doing any amiibo for Pikmin 4. So, unfortunately, no Ochi amiibo. Although one thing I forgot to say about... Well, actually I'll get to that later. Of course, nothing was announced for Nintendo Switch Online. However, with Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars, well, first of all, I don't have to say the Legend of the Seven Stars part anymore, because now it's just Super Mario RPG, officially. I mean, I honestly thought that they would release that would be a Nintendo Switch Online release. But no, there's a remake. Yeah, looks like those rumors of a remake were actually true. Surprisingly. Honestly, thought it was just a pipe dream. That was never going to happen. But, yeah, but now it's here. Hopefully, and I hope that hopefully battle against Culex stays in. But otherwise, yeah, definitely something to look forward to. As for the SNES version arriving on Nintendo Switch Online, maybe in 2028. Because there's usually because so far it's been a period of about 5 years between the release of the remake and the release of it being on Nintendo Switch Online. If if Link's Awakening is anything to go by. Then again, I think there may have been other examples, but I'm not so sure. Of course, as far as the unconfirmed section, Metal Gear was not only there, but they actually announced 2 more titles for the collection, those being the NES version of the original Metal Gear, and also the Gaiden, that being Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake. Or was that Snake's Revenge? I get those two mixed up. Either way, it was the Gaiden, and it's there alongside the already announced MSX games and the first 3 titles. Going down the list, in Crash Team Rumble was a no-show. Persona 3 Reload was a no-show, so I'm starting to question if that game's ever going to Nintendo Switch. Of course, there was a rumor of an SNES classic being of a Square Enix SNES title being remade in HD 2D. Many people were pointing to Chrono Trigger, but of course I said that it wouldn't be Chrono Trigger, that they would release the PC version instead. We didn't get the PC release of Chrono Trigger, but then again we didn't get anything for Chrono Trigger either. What we did get, an HD 2D remake of Star Ocean. So, perhaps the HD 2D remake rumors were actually referring to that. Next on the list, NES Remix Pack. Nothing for that. However, in the Japanese Direct, there was an acknowledgement of the 40th anniversary of the Famicom, or something. Couldn't quite tell what was going on because it was in Japanese, but otherwise, an acknowledgement of the anniversary, but no port of NES Remix, as far as I can tell. No Pushmo World, no Mass Effect Legendary Edition, but we did finally see that Batman Arkham collection, or should I say Batman Arkham Trilogy, because Arkham Origins was not present, but the other 3 were. So good to finally have that to come out of the woodwork. Of course, next in line we've got let's see, DuckTales Remastered, which nothing for that. Borderlands 3 Director's Cut, nothing for that. However, it has come to my attention that the previous entries in the Borderlands series were ported to Switch by the same studio that's porting the Batman Arkham trilogy. So maybe Borderlands 3 is still on the way? And of course, as was to be expected, nothing for Star Fox Zero or Star Fox Guard. Okay, now for the rumored section. Surprisingly, Nothing for Metroid Prime 2 Echoes Remastered. The only GameCube re-release were the two Pikmin games. Pikmin 1 and 2. So nothing for that, surprisingly. But I'm still not going to rule out the possibility of Metroid Prime 2 and 3 remastered. Because both could still happen. Maybe they'll announce it in July or August. Or maybe they're saving for the September Direct. Other ways, there are plenty of other windows of opportunity for that. Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games Paris 2024. Nothing for that. However, it is worth noting that there was announced that it was announced that there would be a Sonic Direct later this month. So, of course, it's reasonable to assume that Sonic Superstars will be there, but maybe Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games will also be there? It's a possibility, so yeah, not too late to rule it out. Or they could be saving it for a later announcement time. Star Wars The Force Unleashed 2. Nothing for... that was not there either. However, we did get a different project by Aspyr. I forget which one. I think it was the Saturday morning animation one. Nothing for Tekken. That one's still a no-show on the Switch. Now, Rhythm Heaven 4, that's an interesting one. Obviously, they didn't announce it, but here's the thing. I put it down there because I heard a rumor that the team between WarioWare Get It Together was working on something else now that Get It Together was done. However, it turns out my source was just wrong as to what that something was. We did see what they were working on, but it's not Rhythm Heaven 4. It was not Rhythm Heaven 4. It was WarioWare Move It. Which, I could see the confusion. In fact, maybe they are also working on a Rhythm Heaven game, just using WarioWare to work out the kinks in the engine. But otherwise, I'll just assume that there was just a slight mix-up. Because I guess WarioWare Move It and Rhythm Heaven would probably use similar, or would probably function similarly, so therefore an understandable mix-up this was. Kid Icarus Uprising HD. So there was nothing for this, but then again, there was nothing for Bandai Namco, in general there. And of course, because Kid Icarus Uprising HD was not as a direct, forget about seeing Sakurai say anything about the game during his next broadcast. I only said that because I figured that maybe if the Kid Icarus Uprising HD were announced at the direct, then Sakurai's next broadcast after that might be the making of Kid Icarus Uprising on 3DS, because that particular one is next in line. So therefore it only makes sense. In a way. But not entirely. F-Zero AX, there was nothing for, nor its GameCube counterpart. So, nothing for that. Nothing for Donkey Kong. New Super Mario Bros. Switch. Surprisingly, to me at least, but also unsurprisingly at the same way, we actually did get new Super Mario Bros. Switch. Only that's not what they're calling it. They dropped the new part of the name, but kept the rest of the logo. And of course, the word Switch I just put there as a placeholder. Wonder is the actual word that's supposed to go in that spot. And yeah, it is about what I expected in a way, but also very unexpected. I expected there to be a new mechanic or two to change up the formula that had gotten stale. But everything that came with the new mechanics, that was unexpected. Strange but fun. Of course, no Fire Emblem Genealogy the Holy War remaster, which I guess is probably too soon for that anyway, so maybe next year. No Silent Hill, no Lego Indiana Jones collection, still no Marvel vs. Capcom, no Adventure Island Anniversary Collection, and no Yokai Watch. So yeah, only one item I got from the rumor category, which I'm going to actually say is 1.5 because I was half right about Rhythm Heaven because it was actually WarioWare Move It, but otherwise it's not gonna truly count it. Only 2 out of 12. No wait, no. I think it was actually 2 out of 11 for this one. Yeah, 2 out of 11, so not a good ratio there. And 1 out of 15. Or 1.5 out of 15. So not a good ratio for the unconfirmed and rumored sections, but those are the hardest ones to do. And of course, if I didn't specify SNES Online, I would have been right about Super Mario RPG. So, yeah. Of the known release of everything that was already known, I did pretty well. Of what was unknown, I did not. But what stands out about what I didn't see coming? Well, let's see. Of course, again, Pikmin 1 and 2. That is something that's a welcome surprise for many. I mean, the overcooked game that is cars instead of cuisine. that looks like fun. Um, oh, of course of course the of course Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon HD. That's also something fun to see. I mean, we don't really get too many 3DS remasters, so yeah. Of course, of course, to be honest, for the most part, it doesn't look too much different from the original, which I guess would please he's, uh, some people. But then again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I mean, it basically just looks like they took the it basically just looks like the 3DS game, but running on an emulator, or thus making it a bit, thus allowing it to have a higher quality video out. I mean, 3DS footage only looks jagged and pixely because of the less than standard definition video out. But run the wireframes through an emulator along with the textures, and all of a sudden you get a much better picture. I mean, same story with and it's the same story with the N64, if you think about it, in some cases. Only the N64 already has the ability to get a bigger video output. Yeah. Of course, I guess I thought that they might. Of course, I guess some people might have preferred that they swap the models for the ones from Luigi's Mansion in 3 for those applicable. But otherwise, there are also quite a few people who would prefer that they keep it the way it is. But I'm just saying, either way, it's good that we have it. Doesn't matter or exactly the specifics, but it's good that we have it nonetheless. Of course, the Peach title. Odd that we wouldn't get even a working title for that. I mean, wouldn't even call it Untitled Peach Game or something. I mean, but then again, I mean, I guess it could be like with Tears of the Kingdom, where they didn't want to give away the name of concerns of the name giving away the game. Which the name Tears of the Kingdom didn't really give away much. Yeah. Of course, I know there were other reveals that I didn't mention. Just trying to think if there's anything else of note before I turn off this recording. Oh, actually, why am I still on this screen? Should probably switch back to wrong wrong button. Yeah. There. So, yeah. Let's see. Luigi's Mansion 2. Finally getting a remaster. Or not a remaster, more of an HD port. But still good to have nonetheless. I mean, let's see, and of course, that's Overcooked with Cars title, good. That rather daft party game with the pigeons. Yeah, that's an out of left field announcement that looks like it could be fun. If nothing else, for a first 20 or a first 20 or something. Not for my channel, but for someone, but for a different. Yeah, but for a certain other channel. Unfortunately, I won't be able to showcase any of these titles outside of the original versions, if available, anytime soon. Hence one of the reasons why I'm using the Wii U version of Breath of the Wild rather than Tears of the Kingdom. Then again, I mean, it's been a month. Surely you don't have to worry about spoilers at this point. Yeah. Let's see. I think, was there anything else I was going to say? I brought up Super Mario RPG Remake, I brought up the new Peach title, I brought up Luigi's Mansion. A few notable old third-party titles. I brought up the Batman Arkham trilogy, the Metal Gear Solid Edge Master Collection, and WarioWare Move It. Yeah. I think that's all for now. I mean, if I don't think of anything else by the time I reach the end of this, I'll just assume there's nothing. Oh. Come on. Link. You're supposed to open the glider. There. Cut.